connect with each other. Welcome to the Mentorship Show, the show that will surprise you with so many insiders on how to walk into an agriculture space. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be also welcoming one of our special guests. I think they're also just going through the same glitches of network. As soon as they're available, we will let them into the show. My name is Dr. Gostina Gabi Malopi. I am the founder and the CEO of Total Agriculture College South Africa. And today I took this opportunity to share and to just welcome you into a space where you can actually explore yourself into an agricultural journey. I think for the past couple of months, people have been asking me, how do you do it? When did you start? What did you do? So today you get to ask all those questions and also be engaging again with our stakeholder and our special guests on how they plan on improving the lifestyle of agriculture within communities in different parts of this country. But before we carry on, I just want us to look back into who are we? We are who we are because of the natures and the belief systems that we are having. Today we are not only having this 67 minutes of being in South Africa, but we've got 67 minutes to make a change. And today, as Total Agriculture College, we decided we do change by imparting knowledge and skills. So welcome to our show, and we are looking forward to hearing from you and engaging with you. Our team is going to be sharing an insider on some of the things that we do at our college, but moreover, the show is about imparting knowledge to anyone that looks and wishes or even has, a zeal to go into agriculture. Because when I grew up, agriculture used to look and feel like it's a male-dominated industry, but moreover, it had a poverty element or a poverty kind of look that if you're doing agriculture, it seems you're poor because you needed to dress, be a nurse, be a doctor for you to look like you're making it in life. Well, history has rewritten itself. Today, you've got to be in agriculture to look like you've made it. Yes, so I will share some of the challenges. I think this is what we don't normally share. The challenges that we come across in the agriculture industry. Number one, we call this one a spade, land. Everyone is crying for land. I always say if you want to farm spinach and you need land, the first place to try your farming activity is at home. Before you go and want to farm on 50 hectares of land, start farming at a less than 1 hectare space of a field at your own home. And I say this to those that come from villages like myself. I'm a village girl. We have so much land lying around, which is belonging to our tribal authorities, whom are actually advocate of agriculture and food security within our communities. We start there. You start small. Somebody said to me in one of the questions that they said, but where do I get the money? The next answer, I think I would pause when somebody asked me that. I would ask them, do you have the time, the energy, and the force before you get the money? Because remember, money needs to direct your growth, but your zeal, your effort must direct your dream and your passion. So in this journey, once you get into it, you don't make money overnight, but you have to go through segments of how to farm, when to farm, what is in the need, because you cannot just farm any other thing in the industry, but you need to farm things that are going to become, a source of capital into your program or your farming program or project. So with that said, some of the people that actually have, the courage to go into livestock farming, I always applaud you, because that's the most difficult farming activity. With planting, just dig clean the ground, plant the seed, and it germinates. But with livestock, there's so much that goes into. There's medication, there's feed, there's treatment, there's a whole lot of stuff that goes into it. But ultimately, you make sure that you produce good meat for consumption, because again, all this agricultural produce that we produce, they come back to our health system, where we need to make sure that we produce good quality. While we keeping the food security system, we're also making sure that we're producing healthy food for our livelihoods. And we move on to why people have started looking at agriculture as a cash cow, or a cash system. I don't know how to even mention this, because it really scares me. But when you go down into understanding what made it so popular, it's how it is now being the engine of life. But we then forget that you need to invest yourself into this to make it real and to make it more feasible. So you look into the farming in other provinces, where some are struggling with high amount of pests on their crops. You go to other provinces where the livestock suffers from red water diseases. You go to other provinces where time and again, you get your rabies, sparking up. Those are the challenges that comes in with farming. But again, before you even get there, there's a part where you need to formalize what you're going to be farming. Somebody said to me, but I can just wake up and farm and sell the market. The market wants to understand your journey. Why are you farming? And for who are you producing for? So those are basically market research, but also complying within the agriculture sector and making sure that all your regulatories are covered, because you cannot just farm and then you've put a pesticide which maybe could be harmful for consumption, and you did not know how to clean or maintain the crop post that pesticide. Those are some of the things that we look into. And again, we go into the water. Water has a very, very big role played in all aspects of farming. Whether you go into livestock, whether you go into crops, you still need water. The quality of water. One asked me, if I'm farming next to a river, is there any place where I should pay to use the water? In South Africa, we got something called river rights. Normally, it's done through the environmental affairs. It's done through the Department of Agriculture. It depends into your municipality or your area where you are based. But moreover, I always get this question: how do I start a piggery farming? An interesting one. Number one, you must be ready to feed and feed and feed. Number two, you must be ready to decide whether you're farming the piggery for bacon or for pokers, because you need to make that decision before you can even start. And other people would, when we have conversations, you can see that there's an appetite for this, but the challenge comes into, how do I maintain this? I once said to a group of my students when we were doing practicals, at some point, I indicated to them, you can even formulate your own feed when it comes to piggery. And one would ask me, what, how, and where? You've got your seeds, you've got your potatoes, you've got, things that you can process to do your own feed. But again, it doesn't come cheap. When you start farming, don't start to farm today and want to be a big commercial farmer tomorrow. The journey took me 10 full years. So that means you have at least, because I took 10 years and I'll start imparting knowledge, then you can take 5 and 3 years maybe. But in this journey, firstly, acquire knowledge. This is why this whole platform was set up for, that we impart knowledge and we make sure that you understand the journey before you walk into it. I just want to encourage everyone that is watching from wherever, please drop us questions, because I'd really love today to engage with you on this journey. And one of the person that sent us a message asked me a question, a very interesting question. Well, I love questions because they stimulate knowledge, a replenishment. They asked me, how old are you for you to be registering a cooperative? I think in South Africa, we understand and agree that 18 years is a legal age for any activities. I've seen people starting to do investment farming activities for their children, because we now understand and know better that farming is a legacy, evolving. And I don't know what is the regulation towards that, but I'm sure the country and the policies may, and one day, and if we engage, of course, would allow us to get into a part where we can actually have a 15-year-old owning a farm and legally in documents. I don't think that should actually be the reason why we cannot grow and have a 15-year-old child owning a farm and having all legal documents under their name. I'm just not sure going into the banks and making sure that there's financial transactions, because we don't know what it will be the impact. And one of the most appetizing thing, it's how much we have walked away from our own indigenous farming food. We constantly being moved by the economical or global products. I still remember the hype around moringa when it came on board, and I was like, how do you rush to moringa when you've not even done spinach farming? It's one of those questions that I constantly ask myself when I see people hyping. But we've got indigenous crops that are still within our communities but not bestly maintained, and with these crops, I always cry for one thing, that we need to try and preserve them. Because if I'm going to be getting an aloo in the field, and I do not see a better way to see that 5 years from now we are not running short of aloo, is for me to replant. But have we tried and tested the replanting and replenishing of these crops? Because as we go, we start losing some of the beautiful indigenous healthy crops, or even fruits, wild fruits. I would put it there, because growing up in Bushbuckridge, that is one thing we did all school holidays. Went into the field, cousins and friends, made sure that we get, we even had a mini competition where if you got more fruits, then you're the champion for the day, and it felt good, stimulated us. And I think this is why my love for agriculture came from. And currently I'm also going back into communities to just venturing into this indigenous fruit, to process them into beauty product, healthy food, and skin products moreover, because this is what we're suffering from post-COVID. Our farming industry went into a slope, and now we're trying to come back, because we now have to focus and take accountability on our agricultural health. Because if we had 6,000 farmers before COVID, definitely we are left with 2,000 or 3,000, because the wrath of COVID didn't prepare us that we're going to be having less farmers. And moreover, looking at today particularly, how we were shaped by our late icon, Otatu Nelson Mandela. He made sure that he's leaving us in a country that we can now fetch our own dreams, fetch our own possibilities. And I think everyone will echo with me to say we are constantly referencing, his beautiful words regarding, self-development, getting into things, being not afraid, challenging yourself. This is what I learned today, that, the next person standing from you and your dream is yourself. And today I'm actually so excited to see that we've got that opportunity to be doing more and more. Let's see, we've got a very beautiful question. We are definitely having a market, and we also making sure that the opportunities that are available in South Africa needs to be talking to us. The market that we are venturing into needs to speak to the hunger stability, or the hunger growth that we are currently having as a country. So we need to just make sure that when you produce, we understand the market. You cannot produce watermelon for a community that still needs maize. So you need to make sure, don't produce for trending crops. I've seen just how much the trend tagline works even in agriculture. and people just say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. Farm what is actually a scarce skill, or a scarcity in that community, and so that once the community starts consuming, you are capable to produce for the next province and the rest of the country. Yes, we've got a question from Mr. Motana, and he's asking us about the biggest challenges facing rural farming is access to market. What is your advice, Doc? Well, the market within our communities starts with us supporting our local farmers. I will share this because I normally echo it, that the first person that needs to support this farming venture, it's us within the communities. If I'm going to drive a car to leave and go buy something, spinach in town, well, there's a local farmer close by, it means I'm not appreciating the value of that market that is being established in that community. That is something that we need to start shifting from and moving towards maintaining our own resources. So we are practically moving. The first market is our household. Then we move to the commercial market. So market starts with our household market, which we normally do for livelihood and survivalist. And then we've got another question: the vision of agriculture in South Africa. What steps can be taken to realize the vision? Definitely, the minute an idea sparks into your head, it's definitely an idea, it's an opportunity, and any idea or any opportunity, stinging your head, it's definitely an idea and an opportunity. The minute it lands in your head, go with it. Do not procrastinate, because one day you'll wake up, it's gone. I always tell people I sleep with a notebook next to my bed to make sure that I always tell people this guy called Thief does not steal my idea, because once Thief steal my idea, I'm gone. I'm not going to remember it. So Thief must not steal. I write on a notebook every time something comes. Somebody asks me, why do you populate so much institutions or companies? What makes you do this? And I'm saying, I don't set up these things for me, but I set up these things so that young people can reduce the word there is no opportunities. So if you're given a lift to town, you cannot say there's no town or there's no help in our community. So that for me says that the vision starts with when you're containing the one that comes in and spark into your head. Then as a country, we're going to be ready to serve other countries. I think I had an opportunity to be abroad not so long, and I realized that one of the countries is surviving off madumbe. You should have seen me dancing, because I never ever anticipated that those countries could be feeding madumbe as part of their daily meals. Because with us, we have walked past the indigenous crop, which is madumbe. We look down on it. Well, growing up, I used to have that with tea. And right now, everyone that I visit in KZN, or if I go home, they definitely know we're going to have a session under, with madumbe. And I enjoy it more because I've picked up some health benefits over them. So that for me says we need to reinvest yet again. I'm going to continuously echo this. Going back to our own traditional agricultural practices, we will revive the faith of the economy, and we also going to be bringing more and more. I've just been informed by my technical team that our guest is struggling with connection. I think it's because of the network wherever he is, and we also have to indicate that our guest is also a custodian or a grandson of our icon, Nelson Mandela. He is currently in his hometown, and I think Network and ESCOM is playing us there, but definitely he will join us once he's available. I see they're trying very hard to go on, and eventually he's gonna come on board, because we're looking to hear from him as well on how the commemoration of this day, but the opportunities in agriculture, as he also serves as one of the parliament committee members under rural development and agriculture. So it was an exciting opportunity once he gave in to come and share with everyone. But without any due course, I'm going to allow more questions so that we can engage so long and we get to have time to just, give you an insight on the questions that you might have. But before I forget, we will be dropping something very, very big very soon. And this is where from here on, you do not have to look any further. It will be right here on your fingertips, anytime, any place, and anywhere. So we're making sure that we're going to give you every knowledge that you can need, because we understand that you are scattered across South Africa and you want the knowledge, but at times it requires you to go to a certain town or a certain place, or even wait for when there's opportunity for training and development. So we have decided to make sure that you do not look any further. It's brought to you at your fingertips, at any place, at any time. So without any due course, we will do the last question. Somebody is asking me, how is agriculture industry appreciating women in farming? It's a very interesting one. Agriculture industry is definitely for women. There's a saying that says, give a woman 10 rand and the country is going to change. Definitely. We as women are the vehicle of family growth, feeding, production, processing. I want to echo this a little bit more, that definitely the industry of agriculture is setting out a huge landscape for women to partake in it, and we are also given much more opportunities, and we are also given more platform. I'm seeing how much women are coming up strong with initiative in agriculture. And one of the things I respect women for is getting into the poultry industry. Half of the women that I have engaged with, they are all in poultry industry, which is the most complex farming activity. And one would look at it as just a chicken, but when you start farming broilers and you realize that it's actually not what it was as it looks from a distance, because you have to feed, you have to maintain, you have to vaccinate, and then you have to make sure and understand the biosecurity, something that is very, very important when farming with poultry. We've got another question here that says, the poultry industry is facing challenges and big companies closing due to chickens from outside countries. What advice can you give? Oh, definitely. Let's go back and do our own indigenous farming way. And that means we need to re-farm our own indigenous chicken. The question I'm posing to everyone out there today, how did we come to stop eating our own indigenous chicken? So this will be a question I'm leaving you with for the next time. Until we meet again, definitely on the next platform that is going to be shared, which is going to be your daily bread, whatever time, and anywhere else that you're going to be in South Africa. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. I am looking forward to more engagement on our channel so that we can walk a journey to develop you and groom you as our new South African youth farmer and moreover commercial farmer. Ladies and gentlemen, as I bow down and my media team, thank you very much.